Okay, so today is very exciting. It's our first Julio Estrada episode on his piece Yuunohui'ome for Viola, which was written in 1990. So this is the handwritten score I have. There's some front matter, which I believe is, oh, it's in English, so yeah, we can get into that pretty rather deeply. And then if you look at the score itself, it says for uh I'm assuming this is Lolita Estrada, or maybe it's a slightly different name. Printing is hard to read. Um, Mi Madre, so his mother. And you can see the score itself. You have a mix of regular staves and then added staves. So this top one we have molto sul tasto to SP, so this is clearly a staff for bow position along the string. Then you have this other staff underneath, which I think is indicating um, articulations. So maybe not bow changes, but like just like accents. Could also be accents with the left hand, but I guess we'll have to check the program notes. And then you have regular staves, which of course notate pitches. You might use one for each string. Like maybe this is all on the fourth string, and then this is the third string. Um, and That seems to be about it. Yeah, dynamics obviously underneath. So yeah, I was right. It's the bow rhythm, pitch, and okay, he also has this split up, so you don't just have bow position, but also bow rotation is on the top line. And of course, underneath the dynamics, you have vibrato indications, and that line that was underneath the uh, dynamics is for pulsation, I guess. So that's how he draws his bars, is from the top to the bottom line. I guess for finger pressure, it's not quite a stave, it's just like number indications above the pitch staff. So yeah, really good example of a decoupled notation. If you're not familiar with that, it's just a way of taking things apart. I think you can find some pretty old examples in the music of Stockhausen. Lochenman does it too, obviously. So then he has a brief description of what he means exactly by each staff and how to read the specific symbols. So any bow tremolo is not on the pitch staff, it's on you know, this bow motion staff here, right? So what's interesting about this bow rhythm staff is normally this type of thing would be notated with, slurs or you would have to like tie, you have to write specific rhythms in and tie notes and add slurs and stuff. So this actually simplifies that quite a bit. On the page, it's just separate from the rhythms that the pitches are making, right? It's kind of like the rhythm of your left hand and the rhythm of your right hand are two separate things. There's some quarter tone accidentals, so uh, he has these symbols for quarter tone raised and lowered, I guess. And then these symbols are used for three-quarter tone. So what is this? This is like a natural raised or lowered, and then a sharp, quarter tone flat. Then you have three-quarter tone nat sharp and three-quarter tone flat. I'm not sure what this third one is. Then there's third tone symbol. So, and then it's two-third tone symbol, so I'm assuming these are just raised. And then sixth tone symbols and fifth tone symbols. So the way you can look at them is like this. They're all just written like ordinary accidentals. And then a chromatic scale with all the microtones filled in would look something like this. So you have 12 pitches between E and G, a minor third. There are certain macro and micro intervals expressed as the approximate into equal parts of a single interval. So in these cases, the ratio is just written on top. Dynamics are notated traditionally, but range from 5 Ps to 5 Fs. In the middle range, there are 3 levels, mezzo piano, mezzo forte, and this other symbol, quasi forte. Vibrato will change according to the specific speed notated in fractions of a second. So vibrato at quarter equals 120, so every half second. Or raising, or 5 times a second, or senza vibrato is just SV. Pitch tremolo glissandi can be understood as a wide range vibrato produced at a specific speed. So this is also indicated underneath with tremolo symbols, right? The stuff on top, that is bow rhythm stuff. So this is like a bow tremolo, and this is a vibrato type tremolo. Pulse is a constant reference to chronometric time only. Metric interpretation of a pulse must be omitted, I guess. Yeah, so don't think of the bar lines like downbeats or offbeats or anything like that. The pulse is just there to tell you how time is progressing. Here is just sort of an inventory of signs, and then you get into the score. It's actually kind of cool to see a window into the composer's mind. I think these are really clear program notes, or sorry, performance notes. I like them. Okay, so who is Julio Estrada? His name has come up talking about other Mexican composers on the channel as a teacher. So he's born in 1943. He's an older generation of 20th century Mexican composers. He was also a theoretician, historian, and pedagogue, and music interpreter. Keep in mind, I'm just reading this on the spot. Studied with Julian Orbon in Mexico, then went to Paris to study with Nadia Boulanger and Olivier Messiaen. He also attended courses and lectures of Ioannis Xenakis. He worked with Karl-Heinz Stockhausen in 1968, with Georges Ligeti in 1972, and finally he completed his PhD in musicology in 1994. At the National Autonomous University of Mexico, he was appointed of the chair of a project on Mexican music history. He's the first music scholar to be honored as member of the Science Academy of Mexico. This may be relevant to the piece we're looking at. In the field of continuum, Estrada has developed new methods of multi-dimensional graphic representation of different components of sound: pitch dynamics, color, rhythm, and three-dimensional physical space. His first research on that was published in 1998 in Darmstadt. The techniques and theories I've developed are based on mathematics and acoustics. The more neutral they remain, the better they serve the description of the imaginary. It is my ear, there is everything aloud, that gives birth to my music, which becomes the accurate, almost phonographic representation of every detail coming from my inner hearing experiences. Okay, with that being said, let's have a listen to this. Link to the recording is in the video description. And yeah, I look forward to uh, getting to know the score a bit. And yeah, the remainder of the video will just be my brief opinions on the piece and Yeah, I'll try to latch onto something to talk about. Okay, yes, this is a really interesting piece. This was pretty much a one-to-one correspondence with the score. If there were any differences, I wasn't able to pick them out on a first listen. So yeah, it's all solo viola. I really like the form. It's kind of split up into these little miniatures and broken up by these silences. And each little section like explores some new sound or some new way of using this notation system. So for example, like this one, the dynamics are going crazy and you have to try your best to keep up. There's this one with the harmonics, artificial harmonics for the most part, which starts high. That's interesting, you know. There's a couple towards the beginning where you have like almost unisons on two strings for like a really long time. Um, yeah, it's all kind of interesting once you get into it. Yeah, so each section is just labeled S. So there's S2 and then S3 here, right? And they all have different tempo markings seemingly. I'm not quite sure, but um, yeah, I like the ones that this one towards the end had a lot of bow angle stuff, which I thought was really interesting. Created these quick like scraping noises. Um, and also there's sections where the bow changes are, you know, they're not like here, for example, they don't go very far, but they're so f fast back and forth that you're like kind of brushing the instrument as you play. They're just really cool sounds and things that come out of this. So yeah, really changed my ear to towards the instrument of the viola. Kind of like really reminding me of Xenakis, you know, that kind of extreme music.